We got Daniel Black on the line from SB Nation's For Whom the Cowbell Tolls, talking Mississippi State football. And Daniel, there is absolutely no way that you could prepare for this question, but I'm glad that you gave kind of a survey of the SEC Western Division because I'm curious. So Ole Miss is the arch rival. There is no debating that, no disputing that. That is the way it is. It's the Egg Bowl. And for those of you out there that love college football but aren't familiar with the rivalry, please do yourself a favor and get familiar with rivalry. I covered it for 6 years, so I'm aware. I don't pretend to know it as well as guys like Daniel and people that have lived and breathed it for a long period of time. But yeah, I was there right on the sideline for the games for 6 years, talking to these coaches each and every week. So I know what it's all about there. What I'm curious to know, Daniel, is that aside from Ole Miss, Alabama and Mississippi State might have closer proximity than any two schools, probably outside of Duke and North Carolina, definitely in the SEC. But going across the country, you know, they're like an hour apart. So you've got the proximity there with Alabama. And of course, everybody hates and wants to beat Alabama because of the obvious excellence there. But it's such a stacked division, and there are so many interesting narratives and storylines that go back and forth between a number of schools there. Ole Miss and LSU have a history. Arkansas and LSU have a history. On and on and on. That for Mississippi State fans, other than Ole Miss, who do State fans like to beat more than anyone? Who don't they like more than anyone?
Well, we have a new addition to this camp, and that would be the Florida Gators, especially with what happened. Some of the, obviously, I mean, I don't really have to explain it, other than the obvious Dan Mullen connection. Our athletic director, or their athletic director, Scott Strickland, Mississippi State graduate, Mississippi State athletic director for 6 years. Florida has definitely jumped up into that category of teams, and we play them on September 29th this coming year in Starkville. There will probably need to be some security presence around those two men for the absolutely insane, which it's the extreme minority of insane Mississippi State fans, but just in case, they would probably need some security presence. Other than Florida, LSU is a team that, sort of going away from football, Mississippi State and LSU have the biggest, probably the biggest baseball rivalry in the SEC, because history-wise, dating back to when the SEC baseball was first in its inception, Mississippi State and LSU historically are the premier two programs in that sport. But still, that sort of carries over into football, especially with Ed Orgeron being a former Ole Miss head coach. It all ties back to Ole Miss, Mark. But Ed Orgeron being a former Ole Miss head coach, and LSU is just a program that Mississippi State has never really liked. And with some success we've had over the last 4 years or so, it's always nice beating them. But yeah, Alabama, LSU, Auburn is another program that's thrown in there. And then other than those two, those are sort of the consensus among all state fans. Some others have like weird dislikes of like Arkansas and other programs, but those are sort of the consensus programs that most state fans dislike.
Yeah, and Texas A&M, despite their history, despite 100,000 people on hand each and every week and all the money and resources they have, they just haven't won enough or been around long enough to gather up too much hatred for, at least at this point. But we'll see what happens with Jimbo Fisher in place. I
mean, the rivalry there, I think that A&M and State have some history in terms of Jackie Sherrill was coached at both of those places. We're both Adidas schools that wear maroon and white, and we are agricultural schools, and we were once both the Aggies at one point. State and A&M don't dislike each other, I'd say. We just have just a whole bunch of strange similarities that are kind of uncanny and coincidental. In terms of former coaches and same colors, just everything. A&M and State are sort of two of the same. I think we both have respect for each other, although personally, no offense to Texas A&M fans, but they kind of seem like a cult. That may just be me, but you know,
well, you can certainly come up with some type of a list of mandates of behavior, and yeah, it kind of falls in line. A lot of strange traditions, and yeah, I'm not going to take it quite that far, but maybe there's a little lean that way.
I
We
mean, I
enjoyed
remember.
talking Mississippi State football with Daniel Black from For Whom the Cowbell Tolls on SB Nation's platform for Mississippi State Athletics. Daniel, we appreciate you stopping by, getting us set up for 2018.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it always. Hope to talk to you soon.